Jody's standing. She has options this morning.
Yeah.
She can use mic number, I'm calling it 3 or 4, but she's settling for number 3. How are you doing, Jody?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
In better spirits this morning.
Oh, that is good. That is so good to hear. That is so good to hear. We started the week on a Tuesday here,
Right.
so today's now
Wednesday.
All right.
That's right.
All right.
Today's Wednesday.
I needed to get that help. Thank you so very much. DJ Audley, how are you doing in that corner over there, sir?
Alive and ready to pick up our stuff.
Machines are working?
Yeah.
As they always are.
Go codes in.
There you go. All right, so we're here to take care of you until 10 o'clock. This is Up and Go. My name is Richie B. Richie Rainford is also in the building. And so is Shells, as a matter of fact, who, I don't know if he did a switch around or what, but I think the fact is we got options, man.
Yeah.
So, wagwan.
Over there.
Everything good?
Yeah, man, that's that stoplight there.
Yeah.
Of a YMCA.
Yeah,
I want to big up every engineer who work on it tonight. That work good. Jeez, I'm pissed.
So then how you think you reach here on time, Richard?
Yeah.
Because the traffic lights don't work. You didn't have to sprint, did you?
No, you see what happened? I'm think that I forget to explain that. Yeah. I'm have to run, come round, and cut the.
Yeah,
Good exercise.
Go through the security system.
Yes.
I actually got scared at the gate as I had to toot my horn a few times before.
Oh, you too?
Yeah.
You too? I was like, am I not going to be in this morning? What is happening this morning?
I don't think he was sleeping. I think he might have been.
No, he was
in
patrolling.
one of the locker areas or something. Yeah. But be that as it may, we're here and we're ready to roll. Okay, it's time for
What the Fact. Woo! Alright, so here we go. Remember I told the Bridge Nation after you guys hear this fact, now go on, try it. We can't bet on any money. Ready? It is impossible to hum while holding your nose. And just test it, don't it? Yeah, man. So normally when you hum, the air is able to escape through your nose to create the sound. And of course, you can't do that when you're holding it shut. So this is one of the weird facts. These are the weird facts right now, Richie, and you can't test it out for yourself.
No, I test it. I test it about 5 times a day.
Try it. Go on the Bridge Nation, it's true.
Yeah, I'm sure many people out there.
Yeah, man.
You tried it as well, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I did it a while ago. Yeah, and it worked.
You say, hold on.
No, I mean,
You home?
Yeah.
While holding your nose?
In my mind.
Impossible feat.
Yeah.
Yeah, an interesting fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a fact, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
and
right.
if you're trying it, you would know exactly what we're talking about. The kind of facts that we like to share with you at this time of the morning, every morning at 6:25. We have WTF.
What the Fact.
Join us again tomorrow morning at the same time for another interesting fact right here inside of that feature. Time for update, ladies and gentlemen. Stories that are out there in the space. Some are not in the space, but we actually have them, and we'll share all that we have with you. Inside of Update.
That's right. Good morning, Bridge Nation. It's the girl, Queen Jojo here. All right. So Star Dawkins says that she and Lincoln Dot, 3 Dot, broke up because they found out that they were cousins. So that's the reason for the breakup. She was on the Fix podcast actually, and she was speaking about her social media influence, being a businesswoman, and she said one of the main reason why. So when they were saying, how you and your ex, and she was like, he's not my ex, he's actually my cousin. So we found that out and decided, that's
So
that.
they were like boiling
You know what? I don't know what I'm not boiling Richie, but I was like, I think
all this time.
Wow.
And I don't think it's something. I genuinely do not believe that this is something that Lincoln wanted to be shared.
Out there, yeah.
Because he would have shared it a long time ago.
Knowing
but
him.
she was knowing him. But she was just talking. Like if you listen to that podcast, she was on and on. I was like, girl, at some point, stop. And when she dropped that bombshell there, I was like, oh my God. It's like a rough man, Lincoln. But yeah, that's why they broke up, because they found out that they were cousins.
Cousin.
At least they did break up.
Yeah, because there is actually a situation where two kind of social media persons found out that they're cousins and they're still together.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. They're two, like, there's a social media influencer who is currently dating his cousin. like twice removed. I don't know.
But
they are
they
cousins, but they decided to continue to.
After they found out?
Yeah.
So they were boiling soup all the rest of their life?
Obviously all their life, but yeah. So it's pretty sticky. I wouldn't share this, but you know, it's social media. It's getting attention.
Wow.
So why not?
I think I saw somewhere. What's his name? Lincoln 3 Dot was saying that nobody have lyrics like him and can talk.
Yes, he did say
so
that.
He has maybe now to find some lyrics and
Jeez,
I
work through this issue.
That for sure. But yeah.
It's out there now, though, and unless he's going to come out and say that's a lie, we never had, we're never boiling soup.
That they can't say that. There's too much evidence everywhere on social media for them to say anything else other than be quiet. Yep.
Maybe it was French fries and not soup boiling.
Yeah,
that's one of my biggest fears, man.
Oh my God.
So much thing you have to go check nowadays when you find a good girl.
Run the family tree before you
So for me, it's Beckford, Walker, Stewart, and Wright.
All right, that's what.
Enough for you, that enough. Yeah. You have to go check
anything outside of those names.
We're good to go.
Yeah, good to go. I get you. Yeah.
For check family tree, I have to check the hardware. I too much thing for check nowadays, and this world. You know what?
Moving right along.
You need to have time on your hands.
Yeah. But yeah, next door we have, so you don't know, rising dancehall star Skeng. He was arrested, at Norman Man International Airport after altercation with security. Now, the police have confirmed that dancehall artist Skeng was removed from a flight at the Norman Man International Airport at about 1:50 p.m. yesterday. The 21-year-old artist, whose real name is Kevon Douglas, was charged for disorderly behavior and resisting arrest. He was offered bail and is to appear before the Kingston and St. Andrew Court on June 21st, 2022. The information, they said that our information is that this happened after he started behaving disorderly during an argument. The argument developed with a member of the port security. So the incident that was actually before he boarded the flight. And that was a quote from a representative from the corporate communication unit of the JCF. Now, Skeng's lawyer, Christopher Townsend, he went on to say it was a simple thing that got out of hand. What happened from the information that I received was that the artist had checked all the way to the gate. There was an item that could not go in his luggage on the plane, his hand luggage, and he was asked to remove it in compliance with the rules and regulations that govern international flights. Townsend continued to say that, after there was a rude comment from the security officer, not the police, Skeng responded to say that was rude. He never needed to do that. Townsend said the matter was an abuse of power on the part of the airport security and that his client was abused and felt threatened.
I don't disbelieve that because I think one of the thing is when you have some security guards and persons in charge when they meet up on dancehall stars, they automatically believe that these persons are a type of way, so they start to show a certain type of vibe. But we know the security for surety. Big up our security that's in this morning, but some really overdo them
prejudice and stereotypes.
Yes, some
and I think you maybe want to extend that to security forces.
Yes, like them they overdo it. Yes,
you know what I mean, though, this is another part of entertainment that artists need to be mindful of because your lyrics follow you.
Right.
You understand me? I don't say Skeng music no nice still, but you understand the things I'm sing.
Yes.
Security and security forces I always want test you and provoke you a certain way, even if you're innocent. So it's probably something I'm gonna stick with him. This probably not gonna be the first time, but I hope everything.
He knows how to handle it and not always react because you're gonna always have that. You gotta have police or you gotta have security say, you think so you have to know how to handle stuff like that.
Exactly.
And not in his case necessarily, but some of the artists when they have that level of popularity, they become uncontrollable too.
Yes,
and
that's true.
They bring that a lot to how they operate generally. Like I said, not necessarily in this case. You know what I mean? But it's interesting. He's able to afford a very well-known and
so Townsend,
not cheap attorney at law per se.
Exactly.
Mr. Townsend, good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
I know that you found that funny, as we did. But I'm also thinking about the promoter because maybe he's going out to a show, and I'm wondering what the promoter is there thinking now. When is the show? Was the show last night?
Yeah.
I've had the experience of booking an artist for a show in Connecticut at the West Indian Social Club, and did not make the first flight, and I called my partners up there as a co-promoter on the event. I said, listen, I'm not leaving Jamaica unless this brethren is on the flight, you know. So we rebooked for the next day, and I called Miss Burke, and she says, Richie, I'm going to three-way you so you can know that he's on his way. This is the following day. And she three-wayed the call and says, Miss Burke, relax, no man. Me there cement company, man. Me I got the airport right now. It was such a relief. And we went there. It turned out to be one of the biggest shows, they say, since Yellow Man at the West Indian Social Club. With Vibes cards.
Nice.
Not recently, obviously.
Obviously.
All right. I think on that note, we're going to take a break from the feature update, and I'll carry some more stories later on in the day.
All right, no problem.
Including one big one on Chris Gale that we'll share with you. Stick around for much more. That was
Update.
And it's time now for us to give you two features, not one, but two, in fact. We have our proverb of the day, and we also have our pet peeve.
That's right. So our proverb of the day, if you see everybody around, take time.
No, you know. No.
Listen, the proverb of today is, if you see everybody around, take time.
No.
You know, take time.
Me I run too.
Yeah, run too.
What the proverb mean before I said that?
Exactly. That's it. Don't be too eager to follow others. That's the meaning of our proverb this morning. So but it's true.
But
sometimes, I want to with black people. If I see somebody gearing to run
I gallop,
I'm not ask somebody no question. I exit to, you know.
And I look go on with us. All right.
And this is a joke that we used to run in high school. Like, no questions. My best friend used to hold him back and just start running. Everybody on the corridor just start running too. Because we not ask no question. Well, afterwards, I walk on you. Yeah. But in this case, I can understand.
Yeah, I agree with the meaning.
Yeah.
Proverb can fix up. Is Jamaican?
Yes.
Oh, is
Jamaican.
If you see everybody run,
take time.
Should I tell the crowd that on that big summer festival that when there's a stampede?
Yeah.
And in about 3 seconds, 20,000 people empty the venue.
Wow.
They never heard that proverb.
No. Wow. Them never hear the proverb there.
No, sir.
But nobody that take that check it out. So if me see when you start run in the studio, I just know that me take up myself and run and talk. There's no question to it.
I want to do a remix on that. If you see people around me, I run faster.
Exactly.
You can call me Asafa.
Exactly.
But in all essence of the proverb, I understand it. Sometimes we follow everybody, but
the meaning makes sense.
The meaning makes sense.
I work with it.
But in a real life, a Jamaica run.
We on the go.
I actually saw a video last night from a member of staff who showed me a video. There was a shooting incident, and the gunman was in fairly close proximity, and the mother ended up run left her daughter a little bit.
Wow.
So this person is a mother says, I would never leave my child. I'm gonna grab if it's even to drag the baby along the ground.
Grab the baby on their arm and
So she obviously never heard the proverb.
You know?
Obviously. I'm afraid of earthquake. I'm afraid of earthquake. And we had that. You remember that morning? One morning we had a really bad. You know, so I take up my 4 dog, them I run come inside.
I love your dog.
I take up my 4 dog and I run come inside, you know. Because me one day woman I frightened still, but I grabbed my dog.
Oh boy, that was nice.
Really nice. Come on.
Our little bowels are well protected.
Yes, I love my girls. I know what a pet peeve.
All right, to pet peeve we go.
Yes, so if you're just joining us for the first time, pet peeves are things that others do that you might find annoying, irritating, or even upsetting. And we have a pet peeve this morning to share.
Money up and go family, the whole Bridge Nation. This morning my pet peeve is a current burning situation. And it has to do with landlords / landlady. The one that move bad mind. You can't say tenant a progress, start one good things, and then you don't come increase rent and so. Start show bad face, bad energy, attitude to the person. That's my pet peeve.
Okay.
For anybody.
You know what I mean? Like, suppose you're a tenant and you walk foot for a while and then you buy a car. Wait till
all of a sudden the rent raise.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, landlord stays so for real.
What?
That
What
look good.
it is? It's
Ah.
not
That
for
look
rent,
good.
no rent.
No, man.
Cause I the roughest thing
Wow.
out there.
But nah,
Had
like,
my share of story.
nah, like
Crazy.
still that pet peeve that could have got left still because him start out kind of shaky. But his pet peeves a burning situation. I was like, hold on there. For the love of help this. Oh, God. Hey.
Now, the present administration have been pushing to introduce legislation to better protect children by banning corporal punishment. But this has not stopped Jamaican parents from disciplining their child or children in some instances in that form of physical punishment. We have access to the Jamaica Survey of Living Conditions, which was compiled by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica and the Planning Institute of Jamaica. And the survey was done between 2019, in 2019, and released sometime this year. With a sample size of some 6,551 individuals from 2,300 households. And we are told that the data was collected over a 9-month period. Respondents were questioned on their use of forms of discipline categorized under corporal punishment, non-corporal punishment, and psychologically aggressive methods. And the findings are quite interesting. The data showed that within the corporal punishment category, slapping was found to be the most commonly used form, with 65% of children getting a slap when they were deemed to have misbehaved. Listen to this. A further 24% of the children were reportedly beaten with an implement, while 13% were pinched as a form of punishment. And there are a whole lot more details that we can share with you, and it will come up for mention in our discourse with this attorney at law, who's our guest, looking at corporal punishment and our nation's children. We're joined this morning by Shereika Mills, like I said, an attorney at law, and she is the Policy and Advocacy Coordinator at the Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network, JYAN. Good morning, Ms. Mills. Welcome to Up and Go. How are you today?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm doing quite well. How are you?
I'm doing well. My name is Richie B, and of course, Shells is also here and will join us in the discussion.
Hi.
Ms. Mills, please share with us, first of all, what is corporal punishment?
So, corporal punishment is using a physical or even sometimes violent means to discipline children. Right.
And this can have a certain kind of effect on children. How do you see that?
We do think so.
Yes.
Right. So, I'll firstly say that this is not something that Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network thinks is okay as a method to discipline children. We think there are lots of negative effects. I think not least of all the fact that children cannot learn proper conflict resolution and learn how to think through what is right and wrong through that method of discipline. It's not a method that teaches reasoning through issues and talking to children. It's violent and causes pain. So because of all those reasons, we definitely think it's is an infliction on their human rights and just definitely shouldn't be considered as a method of discipline.
I agree. Now, but Miss Mills, so watch this now. This is Jamaica, sadly. So what would you say to parents and guardians, who don't believe in doing away with corporal punishment?
I would encourage just some more creative thinking. I think as adults, we know it's not right to hit each other, right? And we regularly, I would say, do things that are not pleasing to other adults, right? And what is the way that we choose to deal with that? And then when we think about that, we then think, what is it about children that we think reduces their status as human beings? Why are we so unable to see them as being more like ourselves and to treat them more in the way that we would treat, an older person if they were to wrong us? If we don't think it is right to hit anyone, why do we think it's okay to hit children?
No doubt there are some non-corporal punishment that maybe would be recommended. Do you have any such that you'd like to share with us?
I'd say time out. You can try taking away, say, devices that they think will be important or denying other kinds of privileges. You could try talking to your child, reasoning through the issues. One of the things I always say is if you don't think that the child is capable enough to understand talking through an issue, why do we think that they have enough understanding to be able to reason through by themselves why they are feeling this physical pain in response to something that they did?
Mm-hmm. Some parents resort to cursing or swearing. Some go the route of even denying the child food.
Right.
Those can be kind of drastic measures.
Yeah, definitely. And, abusive measures.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
From where you sit, would you say that, what do you say to this question? Should corporal punishment be made illegal in both schools and homes in this country?
Yes, definitely. So currently there's actually a joint select committee of Parliament that reviewed the Child Care and Protection Act some years ago. And as part of their report, they agreed that, corporal punishment should be prohibited in all schools. I know currently it's prohibited in early childhood institutions, but the report said, it should be prohibited in all schools, some public institutions, all public places. I did see that there was a lot of hesitation around making this illegal in a private space, but once those recommendations are accepted and incorporated into the act, it will definitely be illegal in those spaces. So I think it's the push for them to implement those amendments that were recommended from that Joint Select Committee report as a first step. And then I just think further agitation, I think, on our end and advocacy, definitely around the issue, but ultimately to have it illegal in all settings. And we think this is important because of how interwoven it is in our cultural fabric. It has to be made clear through the legislation that this is not something that's acceptable anymore, especially since currently we have a common law position where in the courts, parents actually have this right to inflict reasonable and moderate punishment, which a lot of forms of corporal punishment are seen as in our society, which is really unfortunate. And yeah, we think definitely because of this, the legislation should be updated to reflect that it's illegal in all settings.
What I was just thinking about, Miss Mills. Some persons in our society, believe that, physical punishment or even just like a firm hand, getting rid of that whole aspect can have a negative impact on our society. What's your response to that?
To reiterate that.
Yeah.
Discipline does not necessarily equal corporal punishment. It's not that, we have to remove that fear that if we're not beating the children, it means that we're not doing our best to discipline them or that we're not doing anything to discipline them, I think it really does start from early. Like we have to start getting children accustomed to these methods of discipline so that they will respond to them. I can understand now, since a lot of us, and I will say us because even as a child, I was corporally punished, but so for us, we will even have the perspective, we went through it and we came out fine. But I think we really just have to look within our society and see how, I would say, violent our society is. And think about where some of these things are coming from. Because it's not coming from nowhere. And I would say we definitely have higher levels of violence than a lot of other countries, So what are other people doing different and how are they able to discipline their children? Because we do also have examples of what I would call positive parenting that does see success from, talking to children, reasoning through issues, having them understand exactly why something is wrong to do, so that the next time they kind of have that agency to think through the issue on their own. And I think that's really powerful as a skill and tool to develop that kind of emotional regulation of self.
Thank you for that. And just before you go, what can you tell us about the work of the Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network?
Okay, so currently, corporal punishment is actually one of the issues that's on our agenda for this year to continue agitation around. But we were formed in 2006. We're a youth-led non-government organization. We're also non-partisan. And we basically empower young people to be able to talk about their issues, maybe on platforms like these. Sometimes you won't see me as the policy and advocacy coordinator, but we'll have one of our youth advocates, come and speak on different issues. One of our other major issues is health and nutrition in schools. So we're also really pushing for the government to have a school nutrition and wellness policy passed and finalized, implemented for the upcoming school year. We have a petition in that regard, and you guys can follow us on Instagram. We're Youth Advocate JA. There's also our website, youthadvocateja.org, that has a lot of our work, and so you can follow up with us there and see some of the work that we've been doing.
All right, Ms. Mills, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing with us this morning the way you did. Have a great day and keep on keeping on.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Shereika Mills is an attorney at law and policy and advocacy coordinator at the Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Welcome to the Secret Sound game.
Hello.
Good morning. You're on the air, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. You?
Oh, this is Cunis. All right. Morning, Cunis. We're well.
Okay, so my guess is when the person is making their sounds with using their armpit.
Oh, sorry, this is not Cunis. What's your name, sir?
Aiden Francis.
Mr. Francis?
Yes.
Okay. You think the sound that you're hearing is someone using their armpit to create that sound?
Yeah, man. That's a talent. I know about that.
Yeah.
With that level of consistency?
Yes.
Hey.
Mr. Francis! Here's the verdict.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, it's Mr. Francis.
Sorry. We got a lot of calls. Let's move on to the next one. Good morning. Welcome to the Secret Sound game. You're on the air. Hello.
Morning.
Good morning, caller.
All
right. Maybe they were going to say the same thing as Mr. Francis just
probably
did. Yeah,
right.
it actually
not bad.
Yeah, no, it's
Not
a good
a bad
guess.
guess.
It's a good guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the next caller. Morning, caller.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. This person sounds familiar. Who's this?
This is Cecile.
Cecile.
Yes.
All right. Welcome. Do you have your answer for us?
I think it's someone using their mouth to make that sound.
Not
No?
bad. She says she thinks
okay.
it's someone using her mouth.
You could use your mouth and make that sound, Cecile? Oh,
All right.
she's doing it.
All
but,
right.
But you're doing it.
Yeah.
Let me,
Well done.
let me make a comparison now.
Okay.
Let me hear you. Cecile!
Quack, quack, quack. Good
Sorry.
try.
Take care, Cecile. Try again, please.
All right.
Yeah.
Going
It's
on
not
to-
the armpit, it's not your mouth. It seems, what is it?
Let's find out from our next caller. Good morning, caller.
Let's up with ourselves.
Here. All right. Greetings, Dennis. Well, go on. So, what's your answer?
the street, you know me that.
Yeah, man, you don't know. So what answer you have first?
You know what I say right now. You know like when your ears are scratched, you use, you clear your ears. You know? And you go like.
Hey, Murphy, listen. Yeah, go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, man, it's come like when you clear your ears, and you chew it together. You know that?
Yeah.
That's the one, That's the water go down in your ears.
We know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, man.
You have to rock your ears 2 times with it.
Yeah, you don't know.
Alright, Dennis. Love when Dennis calling over, but Dennis said, what is going on? Quack, quack, quack. That's right. Respect.
Yeah, your brethren, I'm going to reason it out now. Yes, sir. All right, let's take another call.
Right.
7:35. It's the secret sound game. We're trying to identify this sound that you've been hearing. That's the sound. That's the sound. Good morning. Welcome. You're on the air now. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
All right. Who's calling?
Joy from Mandeville.
Hi, Joy.
How you doing?
We're there. Give thanks.
Yes. So, don't want the answer now?
Yes, please.
Long time.
Yes. A whoopee cushion.
Yes, I was thinking that, that was my answer, I tell you
Really?
that was my answer. It depends on the type of whoopee cushion you buy, because one of me buy what they are.
Whoopee, me say whoopee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Whoopee cushion.
I know whoopee cushion, but it depends on the type. Cause I have different types. Cause the one, cause the one when me buy what they are, Yeah, the one when me buy what they are,
You manufacture?
Yeah, you know what sound it make?
No, the one where you manufacture. I know the sound where your own manufactured one.
Which one? Run it. Quack, quack, quack. All right, John.
Very good.
All right.
It's not the universal sound of these cushions. She says your own, make that sound. Take care. Have a great day to you, Joy.
Respect, Joy.
Wow. No winner yet.
Woo!
I tell you this, though. If there is ever a game where almost every time that we hear an answer, it feels like it could be right.
Yeah.
Although they're all wrong so far. Yeah. But our listeners are really thinking. We're out of time for the secret sound game for today. We got a chance to play it one more time tomorrow morning at 7:30, when once again we'll try to have you identify this sound in our secret sound game. Give me 3. Give me 3 more. All right. I think she's seated, looking rather comfortable. And I haven't spoken to her like this for, a few years, actually.
Oh.
And one of our favorite female entertainers. She's lyrically potent. I don't know how you feel about Tanya Stephens, Shells. I think you know how I feel about her.
I can tell, but as a young man growing up, her music was needed. You see me? It provided some insight.
After
some well-needed one,
yeah. She deals with a lot of real-life issues.
Yeah.
And she has done that consistently through the years. And so we're very pleased at this time to welcome that little girl who was born in St. Mary, who's now a big woman of world renown. We say good morning and welcome Tanya Stephens. Hi, Tanya.
Greetings, Tanya.
Good morning. A long time, Richie.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yes.
How have you been? Good to have you here this morning. What's been happening with you, Tanya?
Well, thank you very much for having me. A lot has been happening, actually. First of all, I grew up, and I'm still trying to get used to it.
Uh-huh.
It feels like a whole new body, and a lot of stuff is different. I get different. I'm feeling every movement I make now.
Would you say that you were on a hiatus? And if you were, what has brought you back to where we want you to be, in the recording studio and giving us great music like Diamonds in the Sun? Were you on a hiatus?
I wouldn't say I was on a hiatus. I was doing shows. I don't really compel myself to do recordings all the time. And somebody with a catalog like mine really doesn't have to, because people request me for the songs I already have. And I know that Jamaica deals with it differently, like Jamaica will tell you, oh, every time I talk, they say, go make another, try to get another hit song, try to get another, it's a pity. But in other cultures, nobody does that. If you have a good catalog, when you're the Manhattans, nobody says, go get another hit song, you just store your song. So I didn't really feel compelled to keep recording all the time. I'm recording now because I feel inspired to do so. And, releasing now. I'm always recording, but releasing. I feel inspired to do so, and I have a lot of things to say and share.
Yes, and we'll be getting those things in these songs that you'll be giving us over the next few weeks, I guess.
Oh, yes. Well, Richie, you're somebody who's known me since I started. So you know what I look like what the Tanya Stephens journey looks like geographically and socially.
Oh, yes.
I share my ideas in the music, and I use it as a way to spark and continue discussion, and that's what I've always done, and I'm always gonna do that.
Yes.
Every chance I get. It's a good platform, and it would be a shame to have it and not use it to some good.
Yeah. You are well recognized as one of our or better writers, especially amongst the females, and you rank right up there among the best of the lot. There are many youngsters who are listening to us. And just to go off track a little bit, what would you recommend to younger entertainers who want to get into the business, who emulate you and respect you, like your writing styles? What are some of the things that they should really be doing if they want to be able to write great songs like you have throughout your career?
Well, first and foremost, I can't prescribe anything because I don't really completely know how I became me. I get up in the morning and I do me. I try to be the best artist I can be, the best person I can be, the best writer. If I'm doing something, I commit to it 100% fully. And so that's what I would say. Find what it is that you're passionate about and write about that, and you will never feel, because you will be expressing something that is real and that you actually know. Also, if they're still in school and aspiring, and I say, you see that English language and literature class, pay keen attention.
Yeah.
That is key, especially the literature. Allow your imagination to grow. I know that Jamaican parents tend to kill the children's imagination, but find a way to make your imagination survive despite the environment that you come from. Keep the magic. Don't let go of the fairies and the pixies and the elves and the goblins. Hang on to them for dear life, because they are the foundation of imagination, and that is where your writing comes from. This is how your expression comes out of you. So hang on to that.
Yeah,
and then don't try to be a Tanya Stephens or anybody else that already exists. Try to be the first you. Be the first unique, authentic you. We never had a you before. We already had a Tanya Stephens, and some of us don't even hear that much. So try and get to the first you.
Yes. Fantastic advice.
Greetings once again, Tanya. Shells here. All right. So first and foremost, as a young man, I don't know how many of us will admit this, but you see, you and your music and just how you carry yourself is a real inspiration to me as a man. You understand what I mean? So some have to say enough respect. You see me?
Thank you.
Yeah, man, no problem. You mentioned something about utilizing your platform, right? And that's something I can relate to. Give thanks to the Bridge for giving me a platform where I can be unapologetic like yourself and talk the things them and just share light on some real life issues. You get me? But my issue is, Tanya, is that sometimes I care too much about what people think. I respond too much about what people think. You understand what I say? But you now have that problem. They're like, what is it? Yeah, what is it? How can you inspire people like me for this? Utilize our platforms, utilize our voice, and just talk our mind,
Well, first of all, you have to put people in a context. Just think about it. The person is saying something to you. The person who is saying something to you, who are they to you? As somebody who no one care about? As somebody who, for opinion, are going to affect your life in any way? Is it your employer? Is it somebody on the board where you work? Are they going to fire you for having an opinion? If they can't, then that gives you more room to maneuver. Then you think about, how is my opinion, how are my words harmful to that person? If your words aren't harmful to that person, then you have nothing to worry about. But if the person's opinion cannot change your reality and your words aren't affecting theirs, then will you really care about them?
For real. Yeah, man, respect, Tanya, respect.
I saw...
No, man, you can't make people shape you. Sorry.
Yeah, man. Well said. I saw where a mutual friend, Spragga Benz, referred to you recently as the nanny of today. You speak a lot on political issues, and there's always social commentary in a lot of what you do. I have to ask, do you have political ambitions, Tanya?
I absolutely do not. I don't. I don't even want to be disinvolved in political matters. But I realize that we are at a space now which I think is unprecedented. We've never seen in any democratic society before where opposing views were not allowed to contend. And that for me is very dangerous. We're to the point where we think we should have a unanimous voice. It's because we're all different, we're unique. And one idea cannot cover us all. So this is why I keep talking. Because I speak because I can. And if I am not covered on what is under what is the general consensus, then there are a lot of other people who aren't covered either. because I'm not that unique. So I speak because the other people who have these issues I do don't have the platform. I have a little bit to make the voices are heard, you know, and now it's a fight because we don't know. Some of the times when I speak, I hear the not repercussion. It's feedback. It's feedback. It's distortion. We're living in when people not allowed to just say and think and feel and do, and especially when you're not affecting anybody negatively, when you're not hurting anybody else, when you're saying this is not you, this is how I feel, this is how your actions impact me. Can we do this a little bit differently so that I too am covered under the general consensus? And we get such pushback that I have no people force me to be political, but I'm not interested in politics at all.
Okay. You spoke well, yourself and your two sisters, Diana King and Cedella Marley, in the latest track that we have, Diamonds in the Sun. You're speaking on gender in today's world, from how I see it. How do you see that song, and what inspired it?
Well, unfortunately, you know, we get a lot of love from the men in our society, but some of our men still have a lot of growing to do. Gender-based violence is still a thing. In 2020, who would have thunk it? You know, with the things that the man they mature by now, and we are coexist peacefully, but we're not. Women and girls still at great risk. As we can see by the news, it's not a Tanya Stephens thing. It's not much too much. This is going on, and it no longer affect me, but it will affect your daughter, your granddaughter, your niece. You know, it's going to affect your family members. So we need to all fix this together. That's what we're talking about. The gender inequity. You know, women and girls are at risk. Nothing is in global society, but me live in Jamaica. Me express Jamaica. I am Jamaican. And this and to fix first. Me not go fix Trinidad. I live Jamaica and go try to fix Europe or down Africa. May I fix me yard? You answer yard? And this is how me live. This is how it's about me hurt. And I too am a survivor of sexual violence. So it means a lot to me. The environment those coming up after me. I don't want to pick me else for experience. Not even somebody who don't like me. I don't want to experience nothing where me hurt by. Nothing at all.
Yeah. And thankfully you have the music that you can express yourself and let it out.
It's a platform, and I want to say thanks to all who helped to create this platform, whether it be people in media or people in the audience, people who listen to Tanya Stephens and attach some of credibility to me. You might not like the amount of talking what I do, but I don't lie. You know, somebody will talk from my heart. I say what I feel, what I see, what I observe. If I come across information that changes what I thought before, I have no blame as an adult human to say, hey, yesterday I did and this now look correct, today I go change my mind. And this is why people have helped me to build this platform. And it is a really good one for this kind of work. And I feel grateful that I have it. I'm going to continue to use it like.
Sexually predatory behavior by men, you know, is a problem in our society. I think you have also you know, found ways to help persons who have been you know, so affected through the years. Isn't that sort of an ongoing thing that you do?
Well, I've always been talking about it, but more recently, came to our. Well, it was kind of an essay that I sent out on Instagram. I was on an Instagram line.
Yeah.
People call it rant. I don't like call it rant. I was talking about it from a different perspective. This thing, you know, instead of trying to solve predators, let's invite the mental health practitioners to cause. Because I get floods and floods messages from people who have experienced. Sometimes going through it, sometimes it traumatizes me. Just reading voice notes and hearing the experiences and feeling helpless because I can't change what happened to them. And so I reached out, and first Dr. Patrice Charles was the first one who, and she was like, "Please don't have to do this alone. I will make we help you." And psychotherapists, counselors, life coaches, people just them and we're like, you know, worry yourself, man. You don't carry enough burden already. Just sit down and rest, take it off and put it one side, make we do it. So it's not me doing the work. It's the professionals who are trained for this, who I usually try to refer people to, because coming to me and talking to me is one thing, being able to think, I can help you. I might do more damage because I'm not really professional. I know, make us speak out of emotion. But the professionals know how to help you to navigate and feeling and, you know, whatever point you are in your healing. That's why to people, please try to how hard they feel. I know the first step. Try to speak to a professional mental health practitioner. You know, them know how to not further hurt. And we have a circle of, I don't know what to call it, because it's not formal. I'm not register no NGO, I'm not interested in that. I don't raise no funds. I'm not try make no money or nothing off of trauma. I just want to get rid of what me feel. Yeah. And so we have an email that we ask people to write in. Whether you are yourself a survivor of violence or you are a professional who wants help, is endtrauma@gmail.com. Endtrauma@gmail.com. Take them out of this because I can't do it alone. Yeah. It take a long time, a lot of to get to this point, and it's going to take more than that to get out of it. Yeah. So may I beg everybody to just get involved, please, and form your own group. That's not even this thing either. Because this me really not want to promote this, but me love it to make people aware. It's not about me at all. Not about me. Put aside everything you feel about me. You have to get involved with our movement, our society. We need help. Yeah.
Yeah, very good work, Tanya. Very good work, and enough respect to all the professionals out there. But speaking of good work, you're doing some great work with Tad's record, with the upcoming album. What should we expect? What the fans can expect, Tanya?
But I have fun. Next year, I turn 50. First of all, on the second of that year, we drop the album, and I turn 40. Next year, I'm going to turn 50. I'm excited. I know that it's not a typical woman for excited about growing up. But 50 for me is monumental. It means I've made it this far. You know, it means I'm overcome a lot to reach us from there. And I celebrate it in a way I can, and especially with my music, I broke, you know, because I not feel like I have to live within confines of what an aging woman supposed to be. Me not gonna be a 50-year-old prude. Me go out the door, me have a full nigga, and it go express in every way me express. And so I'm talking about that on the app too. You know, being first of all, look out for 50. If you think we're bad now, wait till we touch 50.
All right.
Well, listen. I get it.
Capleton, I'm a mentor upon this.
Yeah. Cool. All right. It's been a good run. I like what I'm hearing from you, not just in terms of the recorded sounds, but even what you say when you speak. And I get a sense that you're in a zone that I just love when you're in. Yeah. And I suspect we're going to be getting some really wonderful songs from you in the next few weeks. I look forward to them, Tanya, to give you the usual level of support. And we just implore you to keep on keeping on, because we need you and the world needs you for all the things that you do and all the things that you say. So we say much love to you, Tanya.
Respect.
Oh, guys, thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank the entire team, but Richie, thank you especially. As me and you know, people in them work. You have been their foundation, and you have been instrumental. So thank you very much.
Much love, Tanya. Take care. Bless up. Right now, we are going to be talking to a Jamaican, actually. He made a historic run to become the first African-American Secretary of State in Georgia. And he has Jamaican roots, and he credits his grandfather, who went by the name Cecil Reginal Eaves, with instilling in him a love for family, a strong work ethic, and respect for education. This morning we're very pleased to have with us in this segment Dr. John Eaves. And we say good morning and welcome, Dr. Eaves.
Good morning, Richie B. Thank you so much for having me on the show today. Look forward to sharing a About my background, my love for my grandfather, who, as you just described, is Jamaican. So
yes,
happy to be here today.
Fantastic. Unfortunately, it's coming one day after another, conversation on air is coming one day after another mass shooting in the United States of America. Very troubling times in the U.S. as far as these mass killings are concerned. In Dr. Eaves?
Yeah, I agree. Stunned. This is what's happening in the United States is what I would call an aberration. I mean, you all had some side conversation earlier. This doesn't happen in other countries around the world. We consider ourselves a developed nation, sophisticated nation, bedrock of democracy. But what's happening here on an increasingly frequent basis in terms of not just individual killings, but mass killings, and also occurring not only within the Black community in some cases, being driven by hate, but it's also happening in our schools, where our children, whether they're in primary age or secondary age, that's high school or elementary school, they're being targeted. And we're sort of in an incredible hole where political polarization does not allow us to come up with a sensible solution to this problem. You have Republicans who are sort of entrenched within what's called the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms right, and they don't want to bulge and change and compromise. And of course, we Democrats want to have sensible laws that restricts the opportunity for people who are mentally challenged or driven by hate from purchasing guns. And yes. I don't really see any way out of it right now. It's really a terrible situation. And I think Americans just need to know that what's happening in this country in terms of the use of guns is an aberration. It is an exception. It's not the norm. Many other countries around the world, whether they're developing countries or industrialized countries, they do not have this problem. And so we're really unique.
Yeah. I know that DJ Roy has some strong views on the issue. He's also part of the conversation. DJ Roy?
Welcome. This morning I woke up troubled because I don't see a solution. You know, the sad thing about it, it's more people of color that are dying from these gun violence. And I, because I'm a sports person, I'm going to kind of flip it to sports. I watch ice hockey. And I've always said when watching ice hockey, when they're saying there's so much violence in ice hockey and there's none in basketball. And the reason being because it's white people beating up white people. Anytime black people start playing ice hockey and you see on national TV, black people now fighting with white people on TV, the laws will change. So anytime the numbers change in terms of death ratio, where more whites are dying than people of color, I think that's the only way we're going to see change. Your thoughts?
Listen, DJ Roy, I hear you. I mean, I just think that you can't necessarily dissect the racial component in all of this. And we never really talk about it. And so there are two things that come to mind, DJ Roy. Number one is the normalcy of killings that occur in Black communities. And no one really focuses in on how and these illegal guns are infused in our communities. They're more plentiful. They're in the hands of young kids who are not developed. They don't know how to handle disputes. They don't know how to handle conflict. And they only resort to the use of a gun. And the gun for many young boys and men, it's a display of power. And no one knows and no one questions in a very serious way why and how these guns are infused in our communities. It wasn't too long ago that drugs were infused into our communities in the 1980s. And there's to me, a parallel between how drugs were infused in our communities in the 1980s and how guns are being infused in our communities today, and how it's become normalized, and many folks don't really come up with solutions, and there's not as much of an anger that surfaces when Black folks are killings are going in our communities. And quickly, there's another component of this, and the other component of this is Republicans, in my opinion, have really embraced the Second Amendment, the use of guns, the ability to have guns. To me, and I think we need to be brutally honest, is that there's a fear component, that there's some Republicans who want to have guns because there is a fear associated with the Black and browning of America. And again, I don't see a lot of conversation about that. And so I think that what's happening in this country is the convergence of these two things. And we are just seeing not only mass killings, but the rise of homicides in this country that are because of guns, and also suicide that is high. And suicide is associated, many acts of suicide are done by guns. So guns is a big problem in this country right now. So DJ Roy, I certainly agree with you on a lot of your points and your sentiment.
Mm-hmm. I want to speak to you, Dr. Eaves, though, about your political, background. We understand that you got involved in politics at a very young age. It seems shortly after you graduated from Morehouse, you emerged as the new national director for the NCAA Volunteer for Youth program. And I understand that you've served in Georgia at several different levels. And remarkably so as well. You've developed a reputation, I'm told, of being a staunch advocate of healthcare, transportation, voting. You looked out for the homeless and did a lot for criminal justice reform. How has the experience been like for you, performing all of these roles and seeing what has happened in the state of Georgia?
It's been a labor of love, and I'm going to always give accolades to my grandfather, who grew up in Maypen and left in the early 1900s to come to the United States. And my grandfather was, as I really reflect on his life, he really was a sort of a Black nationalist. And that Black nationalist is not a bad term. It's really of how we can support each other as a Black community. And I think the way he was raised in Jamaica and his love of Black people, his knowledge of Marcus Garvey, who was Jamaican. And so, Richie B., that philosophy, that sentiment was embedded in me as a young man. And so, as you described in my resume, my level of political involvement goes all the way back to my college days, as well as my high school days, and has come forward. And the other person who was very, very influential in my life was not just my father. I had a great father, but I also had an uncle, Reginald Eaves, who was the first Black police chief in Atlanta in the 1970s. And he was the son of my grandfather. Yes. And he too was greatly influenced by my grandfather, who again came from Jamaica. And so not only have I sort of kept the baton, the mantle received from my grandfather and my uncle and my dad, but I have it. And so a lot of it to me is traceable to sort of this Jamaican influence, pride in race, love of family, love of country, education, and sort of this community and love of our Jamaican and African ancestors.
Yes,
that's right. Greetings once again, Dr. Eaves. Shells here. So first and foremost, it's not a laughing matter. It's not a simple thing what you were doing, what you were trying to do. With that historic run to become the first African American Secretary of State in Georgia. And as a young Jamaican, I have to just say thank you for your efforts. It's a really good look, sir. But of course, the election wasn't a favorable one. Can you just explain to our listeners, just the process? Were you disappointed? Did you just see it as a stepping stone? What's your mindset like right now?
Yes, it is disappointing. I had high hopes and high admiration, but one thing I can say is my head is high. And I certainly put forth the best effort possible. I have no regrets. I certainly proudly said I wanted to be the first Black person elected in this position. And there's never been one elected in Georgia, and it's only been one Black Secretary of State ever elected in the southeastern part of the United States. And the first and only one was a man who was elected in Mississippi back in the Reconstruction era in the 1970s, which is a long time, 1870s, which is a long time ago. So it's disappointing, but I'm also grateful for the support of the Caribbean community. We not only have Jamaicans who are in Georgia, we also have people from Trinidad and Haiti and the Bahamas and Tortola and so many of the islands in the Caribbean. And we actually, according to some census data, 300,000 strong. And there are other Jamaicans and others from the Caribbean who are running for office. Some of them are successful, some of them are not. We certainly all trying. And we do bring a certain perspective to the table in terms of just our unique worldview, our commitment and pride that we have as a people. And I'm going to say this again. I certainly acknowledge my Jamaican roots, but I'm also a strong proponent of Africa. And the last thing I want to say is one of the things that I really wanted to do through the Secretary of State's office is connect Georgia with the Caribbean diaspora as well as the Caribbean nations. Those countries down in the Caribbean are too close to Georgia. Obviously, they're close to Florida, but they're also too close to Georgia for there not to be any sort of cultural, economic, educational ties and relationships, because to me, Georgia can support the Caribbean nations, and the Caribbean nations and its descendants, its members, its residents, its citizens can be a benefit to Georgia. So that was sort of something that I saw as a uniqueness of my candidacy for Secretary of State.
Well, I guess you might have to go back.
Yes,
at some point.
Of course.
Make another attempt. We'll be supporting you, and we're really, really proud of what you have been able to do in that state. Flying the flag of Jamaica and also serving your community. Congratulations on all that you have done and all that you will do in the ensuing years. And it really was a pleasure talking with you this morning, Dr. John Eaves.
Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. Keep on doing your thing. And I really enjoyed the preliminary talk, particularly about guns in our society. And thank you for your kind words about what I've been trying to do. And I certainly love my Jamaica culture. Have a great day.
Yeah, have a great day too, Doc.